Indie artist and filmmaker Alex Landcaster performs for us. Mike Johnston imparts his wisdom on the film industry and COVID-19. I give you some brief movie reviews to occupy your time. We see what the youth of today get up to during this quarantine. And Richard Davis from Burnaby Connect gives you a brief history lesson. Stick around.
Bye.
Welcome back to Burnaby Connect. My name is Aahil Somani. We've got a great lineup of segments for you today. Our first segment is brought to you by Caleb Peterson, who walks you through his experience of quarantine. Check it out.
Alright, welcome to day one of the documentation on how quarantine's affecting everyone's lives. So, yeah, welcome. Hi. So, today, our goal with me and my beautiful girlfriend, Katrina, our goal was first to get toilet paper to see if the media was lying or not, because you can see right here we've got a lot of people saying that toilet paper's running out, wondering if that's actually real. If it is, why are you stealing toilet paper? That's dumb. Two things. First thing that we noticed when we got there, we noticed that the store, we went to Linen Drugs, a lot of stores had cut their hours. I'll show a video right here. Save on Foods, that's another place that we went to. They cut their hours up, made them a lot shorter. Only for certain times of the week to keep certain elderly people to not go at the same time as everyone else. When you go into London Drugs, the first thing that you'll probably notice is that they've got a lot of lines set up and a lot of things near the checkout that are set up to keep you 6 feet away, just like everyone else. And it's not just in stores that you'll see this. At the beginning of the intro, you probably saw the sign. They have those signs now everywhere in BC. Hopefully everywhere else in the world right now. But then we went to the toilet paper, and the news articles were right. There's a little bit. You can see some on the left.
I kind of like that. And
side
pretty good.
Here. They're like,
yes, I like
that.
Bounty.
But other than that, it's all gone. Like there's nothing. It's actually a thing. It's insane why this is what people are taking in apparently an apocalypse. Like it's an outbreak, it's a pandemic, but we don't need toilet paper out of all things. We do need it. Toilet paper though, not the main thing. We need food. I would expect that to be gone, but no. Go to Save on Foods right now. Look at us. We're touching apples right now. We're looking at bell peppers. We're looking at avocados, kiwis, everything. It's all there. There's no lack of food. Why are we taking toilet paper? This is so stupid. So that was a weird thing. So we failed on getting toilet paper. So yeah, that was the main part. After that, we went to another mall. It's known. I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's a mall, because it's not local. You guys don't know it. But yeah, we went there, and me and my girlfriend, we bought some nice food just to eat and sit on the bench. We looked around the mall and no one's there. It's completely empty. No one's there. There's like one person in this, and they're on the outside. This is outside, and there's one person like just all the way down the block. So pretty insane, pretty crazy. Not that much people outside. A lot of people are outside. It's during the day. During nighttime, we went around 7 o'clock, and right then, that's when everyone leaves. They just go inside. So it's pretty interesting out there. I guess that's the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. I'm gonna do about two more of these. We're gonna do up to day 3, and then we'll see how it is, and if anything's changed, any policies have been strengthened or loosened. So yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Goodbye.
Boy, wasn't that great. Next up, we've got an interview with the highly anticipated Alex Landcaster with a special performance of his hit song, Cafe on Mars. Check it out.
Hi everybody, my name is Angelna and we're with Burnaby Connect today. And today we have a very special guest. It's Alex Landcaster. How are you doing today, Alex?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we prepared a list of questions of our class and we would like to ask you some of them. So we'll start off with the basics. When did you start writing your music?
Oh, so I started writing music for a graduation party. When I graduated from grade 12 of high school, that was a big deal to me, and I wanted to remember it by writing a song for the school dance. And so we got to play that song at, I think it was Burnaby Hall, City Hall, and it was a pretty big deal.
That's really
and it was
cool.
really fun. So.
And where does the inspiration for your lyrics come from usually?
I like sci-fi filmmaking, and I like to take that over to my music. I like futuristic sounds and themes.
Right. And have you ever tried exploring other genres of film?
A film? No.
What about music?
No. I like my genre, and I like to stick to the theme of that.
So you found your groove?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Do you think you found your stride, or are you still on your journey?
I am definitely always going to be on a journey of learning and expanding my ability to handle things.
And what is the inspiration for one of the songs, Cafe on Mars?
Right, so Cafe on Mars is really about an imaginary future couple in a world where the Earth is destroyed by global warming. Like, we've completely failed to regulate emissions, and weather has destroyed the planet, industry, overdevelopment, everything you can possibly imagine has gone wrong. And so we look to the stars to colonize planets like Mars. And we build there like a cafe on Mars. And so the couple in this scenario is so positively focused that they would rather just make the most of their time rather than give up on life.
Wow, that's fascinating. Have you ever tried making that a movie? Have you ever thought about it?
No, but I mean, that's a good idea.
What do you find the most challenging in directing your short films?
In my short films, I'm trying to convey emotions that we often suppress in our adult life, to expand the feeling of emotions to emotions that aren't necessarily, we're not able to put into words always. We like to simplify emotions so that we can communicate them and the message travels.
And how do you go about finding actors for your film that will convey that emotion?
Mostly just people I know, friends, because the better I know them, the better I know what kind of character they can relate to, because I think they should play a character, without actually pretending or having a secondary layer. I believe good acting is actually about channeling, so that the actions are taken from a place of that perspective of the character they're going for.
So if you were to become a director and have a huge crew, would you want your friends to also be actors for those films?
Yes.
And what is the meaning behind Transhuman, your film?
Transhuman is about learning to love and, in other words, understand. The unknown is not something we should be projecting our ideas from our past on. Because I don't believe people actually would fear the unknown if they didn't have expectations to fill in that void.
That's really deep. Wow. How does the fight of the two guys tie into the plot of the movie?
Right, so Brendan's character, who is the main character, Ava's friend, attacks the pregnant Patrick character, who I play in the film,
Right.
because he thinks that he's an alien instead of just seeing the mutation from the pregnancy. And so that fits in with the theme of projecting our ideas of what we should be afraid of and converting that into hatred and self-defense and all the rest of it. Because if you fear aliens based on like movies that you've seen where aliens are the villain, then you're going to act from a different place.
Right, yeah. Is there going to be a sequel to the Transhuman film?
Maybe. I mean, it's the type of story that can be retold in many ways.
Right, because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but I think the theme is more important than the plot, like where the story ends. I'm satisfied with a happy ending, like with the child being born that's a hybrid between mankind's knowledge and the alien extraterrestrial knowledge.
Yeah, I can see that now. What can we expect from you in terms of film and music in the 2020 year?
I have some exciting projects that I'm collaborating with people on, but I can't mention them right now, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you have any words of wisdom for aspiring youth?
Absolutely. I need people to understand that your beliefs are what are the only thing that can really limit yourself in reality, because our limits are based on belief systems that control and filter out our experiences of life. So, like in Transhuman. So, believe in yourself is the core of it. And ask yourself, what would someone who loves themselves do in any given situation?
Thank you so much, Alex. We have a little present for you from our ASA class.
Thank
Here
you.
you are. And we would like to ask you to actually perform one of your songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Thank you.
I know it breaks your heart thinking about when the earth was green, but that is behind us now. So take my hand as we blast off into space. I know that we can build together a new home. There's a cafe on Mars, just under the stars. There's a cafe on Mars for us. There's a cafe on Mars, just under the stars. There's a cafe on Mars. I know we can build together a new home. Just under the stars, a cafe on Mars. There's a cafe on Mars, just under the stars. There's a cafe on Mars for us. There's a cafe on Mars, just under the stars. There's a cafe on Mars.
Man, I am still just so gobsmacked by that performance. Our next segment will serve as sort of a precursor to the next interview with Mike Johnston, as it also relates to film. This is a little segment I like to call
Lightning round movie reviews.
Our next series of films are ones that a lot of you might have already predicted. It's the Indiana Jones franchise. Join the swashbuckling archaeologist Indiana Jones as he raids temples and searches for mythical lost treasures, accompanied by his charismatic companions, such as Short Round, Henry Jones Sr., Marion Ravenwood, and many others. These films are a must-see for anyone who likes any kind of movie. They've got action, comedy, adventure, anything you could ask for. Check them out.
Hi, I'm Richard Davis from Burnaby Connect, and I'm sitting down over Zoom today with Vancouver-based filmmaker Mike Johnston. He was a co-founder of Studio 104 Entertainment and has directed documentaries such as Portrait of a Warrior and Synopsis, as well as narrative films like Line of Fire. So as someone who's kind of made narrative films as well as documentaries, what are kind of the differences that you find between making them?
Narrative side, you have to plan out a lot more elements because you're dealing with props, you're dealing with sets, you're dealing with locations, multiple actors, maybe multiple location moves in a day. Everything has to be carefully coordinated to fit that 12-hour day. Whereas documentary is a little bit more of a fluid process. You're not shooting for 12 hours a day necessarily. Sometimes you're shooting for more depending on the subject availability. But oftentimes it's a lot more kind of roll with the punches type of medium. And usually involves a lot of travel, which, you know, is something that we're kind of seeing affected right now because of the current, you know, state of affairs.
Mm-hmm.
But they are totally different beasts. That being said, I've kind of tried, my approach to documentary has always been to try and make it as cinematic as possible. So you do kind of see, at least in the films that I've done, a little bit of the blurring of the lines there between narrative and documentary in some sense.
So what is the best piece of advice you can give to someone who wants to be a filmmaker, specifically a documentary filmmaker, as you are one of the filmmakers who does specialize kind of in the documentary world?
I would say, again, I kind of go back to this point that I mentioned earlier, but I'd say don't be too married to a vision, again, and kind of just like allow yourself to just kind of follow the story and let it unfold. Because again, just going back to Synopsis, it's like, I think I thought I had a very clear vision on what the story should be and how, you know, the edit should be laid out, that sort of thing. But as we went along and I kind of learned more about my subjects and I saw the story unfold a little deeper, and all this stuff, is like that all changed, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that, and especially with documentary, I think you always want to be crafting the right story instead of crafting your story.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it is factual entertainment and it is, you know, nonfiction film. So you want to be telling the most accurate story. But then also something I think I've learned is you want to make sure that you're telling a fair story as well. You don't want to just be on one person's side of the equation. You want to tell both sides of the coin.
Big foot to the chin, and here it is. The slingshot drop kick as administered by Sin.
Like the last wild frontier of filmmaking, you know, you go there, you think, you know, you're going to shoot one thing and you follow the story and hey, you end up shooting another.
Well, yeah, and like there's been plenty of like famous cases before of like doing that and incredible things unfold. There was a filmmaker based in New York that was filming the New York Fire Department on September 11th, 2001.
Oh my God.
And he was just filming the fire department. Like it was a documentary about firefighters. And then on that day, 2 planes hit the World Trade Centers, and it became, the next thing you know is it became like the preeminent 9/11 documentary.
As we are obviously talking about all of this, the COVID-19 pandemic is gripping the world and specifically our country.
Mm-hmm.
How has it kind of affected the film industry in Vancouver and Canada as a whole so far?
I mean, the easiest way to describe it, I think, would be state of flux. You know, I kind of look back on it, and I kind of talk about, like when I talk to other people about it, it's like I remember this day. and I forget exactly what the day was, but it was like halfway through, it was like mid-March, and I think it was a Friday, and pretty much all the big productions in town shut down. So all the big TV shows, big movies that were shooting shut down, and we were scheduled to go to camera on a TV pilot that we're developing the next Friday. So we were just about 1 week away from production at this point. We're just seeing everything drop like flies. And we still didn't make a decision. And then I think it was the following Monday, they had just declared a state of emergency in Vancouver. It kind of just became clear to us, not only for the safety of ourselves, but for the safety of our cast, our crew, and everybody involved with the production. It was in our best interest to also suspend production for the time being.
Has the thought of creating a COVID-19 documentary or perhaps an apocalypse disaster film come across your mind at all? Because it is so empty outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I did have a thought at one point. I was like, if I'm gonna do a COVID documentary, I want to do something that's just like get people from get documentary filmmakers from all around the world to capture like footage of empty streets, and then just like cut together this super cut of like quarantine or something like that, and have it just live kind of as a film like that. But also, I've reached the point where I'm so sick and tired of hearing about COVID.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't think it should inform our work. I don't think we should shift to, oh, now we all have to make films about pandemics and we all have to make films about COVID.
Here's the question though. Do you think in 2021, 2022, we will see, let's say, a film released by Universal starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, where he's a CDC scientist fighting off coronavirus?
I mean, I hope so. Like, I want to see that movie. And I hope when you say he's fighting coronavirus, I hope you literally mean he's fighting not like trying to find a cure. Like, he's actually like trying to kick some ass off corona.
Yeah.
See, that's a movie I'll see. I mean, there's already been a coronavirus film that was actually, I think, made by a Vancouver filmmaker. That I think he finished shooting like right before the lockdown.
Yeah.
And he's in post right now.
So it was one that was shot entirely inside like an elevator from the looks of it, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And like, so that's probably going to be the world's first coronavirus film.
Do you understand that there's a virus going around in this building?
I didn't know there's a coronavirus in the building.
Yes, no room.
And again, yeah, I think it's going to be a part of our work, especially narrative stuff. It's like, like what I think about is, do you know the movie Contagion? Steven Soderbergh made the film.
I don't, but I remember a classmate of mine mentioned to me, and he was like, this is scary how similar it is to...
Yeah, it came out in like 2009, so almost a decade ago.
Right.
But I watched it kind of right as the quarantine was starting, and it was, I mean, in my mind, it's pretty similar.
Hello. I need you to get me the names of everyone who serviced this room. It's an emergency.
So I'm sure there will be at least 3 or 4, viral contagion-based movies. But I hope it's not a permanent fixture. I hope we can kind of, get it out of our systems and move on with it. That being said, I definitely want to see Dwayne Johnson in that movie.
That would be very fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't hold anything back. I watch anything that The Rock is in, pretty much.
Fair enough.
I just his characters are just so over the top and awesome that it to me it's just entertainment. Like, it's like,
true.
He's not going to win an Oscar, but I mean, it's fun to watch.
100%.
Hi, I'm Richard Davis from Burnaby Connect. In our new segment, This Month in History, I'll take a look back on historical moments in the month of May. On May 1st, 1997, the Red River Flood destroyed parts of Manitoba, Minnesota, and North Dakota. On May 25th, 1977, Star Wars has its opening weekend, introducing fans to a galaxy far, far away. On May 27th, 1999, current Governor General and then astronaut Julie Payette became the second Canadian woman in space. On May 31st, 1997, the Confederation Bridge opened. It is Canada's longest bridge at 12.9 kilometers long.